But all you guys care is here. What are you going to be graded on? 10% is attendance, and I'm kind of flexible on that. And those of you who took my classes know before, I work on honor code. If you tell me ahead of time you can't make it for this reason, you don't have to prove it to me. Okay, your word is good enough. Obviously, if you kill your second grandmother in a semester, I'm gonna be careful about the third one. I'm gonna ask for the proof that one of your grandmothers was actually living with another of your grandmothers. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That happened to me years ago. One student killed three grandmothers. Said, is one of them a great grandmother? I said, no. I said, you know, were they friends? I knew she was lying anyway, but if you can't do it in time, you blow out your tires on the way here, your first priority should not be emailing me. I mean, if you do, I'll be, I'll feel important. But, when it's practicable, send me an email. If you tell me 10 days after your absence, oh, by the way, I had this that day, then I'm going to ask for a proof. But if you do it in time, I'm good, right? Class participation, technically it's part of attendance. If you're not here, you can't participate. If you have an excused absence, you won't be penalized for that. There's going to be a few homework assignments. They're about 30% of the grade. And you also do a project with your group. Once the total number is finalized after the drop period, right now I have 16, so I can easily put you in groups of 4. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have the class in here. In some of the classes, you're going to have group activities done. That's a lot easier to do it here compared to in other classrooms. And about 10% is at the end of the semester, I'll do a survey to your group members. They will anonymously evaluate how much you contributed, and some of it comes from there. If 3 of your 4 group members, of which you're the 4th, tells you that you did nothing, I'm going to believe them. And they all said you were great, I'm going to believe them too. I know there's an upward bias in those participation stuff, but what are you going to do? That's the only control I have. Any questions on no exams, by the way? No midterms, no final exams. You guys are grown-ups. I don't believe in that. I mean, even in my basic finance, I don't do it anymore. Partly in order to help with my gastro health, because I get a lot of acid reflux while grading those exams. Those guys are going to have online quizzes and stuff. But now I'm doing something where everything is auto-graded. Even these are going to be auto-graded. I'm not done with it yet, but you each will get a random set of inputs on the same set of problems. You may be able to choose some of them. We'll talk about those because I'm not going to assign anything for at least 3 weeks, which gives me time to finish my code. I had to move my apartment. That lost me a lot of time. All right. I will briefly introduce you to your calculator. This is actually a template which I'm gonna give you. I mean, this is what we call a macro enabled template, which means there's some code behind these things. You guys don't have to know any of that, okay? All you have to trust is when you push certain things are gonna be done for you, all right? This is just, it tells you it's not editable because I put protection on it. Since it's my master copy, all I have to do is click on that black plus. It's created a copy of that. I can name it. For example, I'm going to name this Hypercircle, hypersphere. Okay. What this sheet does, it's an interface for essentially goal seek for you. You may have a complicated problem that has multiple inputs, okay? And there may even be some optionalities involved, okay? You know, if that's green light or check mark, do something. If it's red cross, do something else. If it's yellow, do something else. Certain problems are like that. So I put, you don't need three options, but I put those so that you could see the colors. These things change by double clicking. It toggles between the colors. And there's a little macro that you write for that. And this solver has two modes. The red mode is actually the setup mode. In fact, I should change that into setup mode once it's red light, which I haven't done. You set up the problem. Solver doesn't do anything. Once that turns into green light, it basically solves that equation for the input that you want by using what it would have done using goal seek. So let's do a simple problem. Suppose I want to solve the following equation. X cubed plus y cubed minus z cubed equals 1, okay? For z. Or I may change my mind and I want to solve that for x or for y, given that I know the others. So let's set it up. Well, I have three inputs, x, y, and z. This thing starts with only one input. By the way, on any row, you can hit delete. It deletes that, except for the first two. I don't want those to be messed with. So the macro doesn't allow them to be deleted. The green adds a row, adds a row. I have three of them. I'm going to call them X, Y, and Z. You can call them my aunt, my uncle, and my grandma. It doesn't matter. Okay. This cell here has a built-in drop-down box, and I'm going to show you actually how to do those. It's called data validation. Only certain things can be entered into that cell. In this case, it can be only one of those. I want to solve for Z, okay? If I type here something else, it's going to tell me you can't do it. But sometimes you actually allow that. You give them kind of a common things that could pick easily. But if it's outside of those, they could manually enter it. You do not touch the pink cells. Normally, I would have made them red, means red light. You guys don't want to do anything, but when you typically double click on them, it doesn't show that well on these screens. So I made that pink. If these were red. Oh, by the way, as soon as you change the variable, when you're in solver mode, the variable, the input that for which you want to sell is going to be, you want to solve for is going to be highlighted. So you know that you're doing that. For now, I'm doing it for Z. Okay, my target value is what I want on the right-hand side. I want 1. Okay, so I'm going to enter that. Left-hand side is going to be a formula that depends upon those inputs. Equals, don't click on those input names. Those are simply tags. These are the values. X cubed plus y cubed minus z cubed. Okay. Right now it's all zeros, doesn't matter. As soon as I hit, if I double click on the solver mode, this thing is going to be green. It actually solved it for me. This thing is the difference between the right hand side and the left hand side. That's 10 to the negative 9. Don't touch this one too much. That's how much difference you tolerate. I'm tolerating 1 in a million. It's going to be very rare in a financial application. You're going to need anything more than that. But if you want, this whole thing operates based on change. If anything on those options or inputs or the target value or the variable you solve for changes, solver activates and does it for you. So right now, it solved it when x and y were zeros. How about if x was itself 0.5? Done. Technically speaking, it goes through some iterations, but since this problem is simple, it's almost instantaneous. How about if y was negative 0.6? I can change. What if I make this sphere a little bit bigger? X cubed, y cubed plus z cubed is definition of a sphere on a three-dimensional plane.